Well, hello, everyone. Thank you again. Hope all is well. Thank you so much for joining us for the Lives and Lessons Learned of 100 Christians. Today, we're doing somebody named George Whitefield, 1714 through 1770. Died right before America was born. Was an English Anglican clergyman and evangelist, one of the most influential figures of the First Great Awakening in Britain and America, a big revival that happened. Renowned for his electrifying preaching, he drew massive crowds, sometimes tens of thousands of people, with his dramatic delivery, and gospel-centered message. A founder of Methodism, along John and Charles Wesley, he pioneered open-air preaching and transatlantic revivalism, shaping evangelical Christianity. His life, marked by relentless zeal, sacrifice, and controversy, offers profound lessons in faith, communication, and perseverance. He was born December 16th, 1714 in England. Whitefield was the youngest of 7 children. His father was a tavern keeper who died when George was only 2, and his mother struggled financially. At Oxford University's Pembroke College, where he studied on a scholarship, working to pay his way, he joined the Holy Club with the Wesleys, the 2 Wesley brothers, engaging in disciplined prayer and charity. In 1735, at age 20, he experienced a dramatic conversion, feeling delivered from the burden of sin through faith in Christ, which fueled his lifelong passion for evangelism. He was ordained in 1736 and began preaching in England, quickly gaining attention for his theatrical style and emotional appeals. His sermons, emphasizing the new birth of Christ, packed churches. In 1738, he made the first of 7 trips to America, preaching in Georgia and founding an orphanage in Savannah, Bethesda, which was which he supported lifelong. By 1739, barred from many pulpits for his fervor, he pioneered open-air preaching in Bristol and London, drawing crowds of up to 30,000 people. Imagine. His ability to project his voice and use vivid imagery made him a sensation, dubbed the Prince of Preachers. His 1739 through 1741 American tour sparked the First Great Awakening, preaching in cities like Philadelphia and Boston. He collaborated with Jonathan Edwards and others, igniting revivals. Benjamin Franklin, a friend, estimated Whitefield could be heard by 30,000 people without amplification, and noted his fundraising prowess for the orphanage. Whitefield's transatlantic ministry bridged England, Scotland, Wales, and America with over 18,000 sermons delivered in his lifetime. Now, he had some controversies and challenges. His Calvinistic theology clashed with John Wesley's Arminianism, causing a Methodist split in 1741. Though they later reconciled personally, he did support slavery, including owning some slaves himself, to fund the work in Bethesda, reflecting on the era's moral blind spots, and which obviously draws modern criticism. Physically, he suffered from asthma and overwork, often preaching while ill. His marriage to Elizabeth was strained by his constant travel, and their only child died in infancy. That's sad. Whitefield continued preaching relentlessly, crossing the Atlantic several times and facing mob attacks in Britain for his enthusiasm. 1770, during his final American tour, he preached in Exeter, New Hampshire, and died of heart failure in Newburyport, Massachusetts, on September 30th, 1770, at age 55. Was not very old. Buried under a church pulpit, his death was mourned widely, with thousands attending the memorial services. So what kind of lessons can we learn? That's why we're doing this. Communicate with passion and clarity. His delivery, described by actor David Garrick as making him weep or tremble, shows the power of vivid, heartfelt communication. His ability to adapt sermons for diverse audiences, from minors to elites, teaches that effective proclamation of truth requires emotional connection and accessibility, inspiring modern communicators to engage both the heart and the mind. Pursue a singular passion. his life revolved around one goal: preaching the gospel. He declared, "I'd rather wear out than rust out." He did, evidently. Preaching up to 20 times a week. His focus encourages defining a clear purpose and pursuing it intentionally. Innovate boldly in service of truth. By preaching in fields and marketplaces, Whitefield broke from church norms, reaching those excluded from traditional settings. His innovation, using pamphlets, networks, and transatlantic travel, teaches the value of being creative in our methods to share the timeless truths. Persevere through observation, facing pulpit bans, theological disputes, and even physical attacks. Whitefield pressed on, trusting God's call. His resilience among criticism from both clergy and the mobs, and personal loss, his own son and his health, inspires steadfastness in adversity. Balance zeal with humility. His zeal sometimes bordered on arrogance, yet he sought reconciliation with Wesley and admitted his faults. His life warns against unchecked enthusiasm while also modeling humility in conflict, urging believers to temper passion with grace and self-reflection. Okay, sacrifice for the greater cause. His grueling schedule, preaching through illness and crossing the Atlantic so many times, shortened his life but spread the gospel globally. His sacrifice challenged us to weigh temporal cost against the eternal gains, embracing discomfort for a purpose beyond ourselves. In his legacy at the end, Whitefield ministered during the Enlightenment when rationalism challenged religious fervor. The First Great Awakening, fueled by his preaching, revitalized Protestantism, uniting colonies and shaping American evangelicalism. His open-air methods influenced modern revivals, and his cross-denominational appeal fostered ecumenism, though his stance on slavery remains a problem and a stain. Over 50,000 attended his sermons in a single week in 1740, and his writings, including journals and sermons, inspired figures like Charles Spurgeon. The Bethesda orphanage that he started still operates, and his emphasis on the new birth echoes in evangelical theology today. Again, thank you so much for joining us for this biography on George Whitefield. Take care. God bless.